Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now August 21st of 2025, and given that the Meghan Markle fiasco is still at large over at Netflix between the executives, Ted Sarandos, Greg Peters, the many producers over there, there is a very serious division going on over at Netflix HQ after Ted Sarandos allowed Meghan Markle to get her hands on multiple one-off projects for Netflix. Now, she may not have a very expensive contract that is all over and done with, but now she's getting one project here, one project there, in isolation. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01, and thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, in the middle of the press tour for With Love Meghan Season 2, which has been abysmal, by the way, it has been nothing more than a nightmare for Netflix executives because of what she's been saying. She's been very much vocal as of late to try and defend herself, to try and defend With Love Meghan as a show, and to also defend her future in Hollywood. Well, it recently got even worse when it came to a handful of announcements that she made, and how she really did indeed drop the worst news possible for 2025 just before the release of this terrible show, With Love Meghan Season 2. Now, that's going to be released on the 26th, just to let you guys know about that. However, what's interesting here has a lot more to do with Meghan Markle really going off the rails in a very, insufferable way, in a very narcissistic way, and really just trying to actually gain all the attention back on her as an individual. This is where it really actually goes out of control. Now, one thing about Meghan Markle for sure is that we know that she can't actually stand not actually saying anything about her future in Hollywood or about her future in her career. Now, with Meghan Markle creating extensive backlash behind the scenes over at Netflix between various executives and producers after Ted Sarandos gave the okay to provide her one-off TV shows, one major development going on now involves more to do with Meghan Markle dropping the worst news yet and making a terrible announcement that will certainly create another wave of backlash. Meghan recently delivered the following: "I am more than proud to stand here today ahead of the release of Season 2 for my series, and what I would like to address today involves my future with Netflix. One thing that we are working on right now is that I would actually like to focus on my love for traveling the world to different countries. This is something that we are in the process for right now at Netflix to make it happen and to focus on my traveling life. Whether it's in Italy, Germany, or even Australia, I think people will be more than proud to witness the travel tips and tricks that I will be able to provide to the world and for common travelers out there. This is something that we are really trying to put together right now that will help make the world a better place, and how we are also working on bringing on some surprise cameos for this new project that I'm excited to announce in the pre-planning stages. More often than not in my life, I have dealt with naysayers, I have dealt with critics for sure, and that can be tough for anybody, but especially me. But I am here today to say that I will finally be a critic on this new project, a critic of travel destinations, and how it's going to be your one-stop hub to figure out should I go to this country or not. This is something that I have always wanted to do apart from my partnership with Netflix. I am also proud to announce that I will be working on a new book that I will share some revelations about my private day-to-day life that nobody out there knows about as of now. This is something that I have given much thought into, and how it will inspire a whole new generation of both men and women about not just my life, but modern society. To all the naysayers and critics out there, I think when one succeeds, it bothers them because they have their own issues going on in their lives, and they have to take their anger out on other people, which is childish behavior and behavior that shouldn't be allowed. Now guys, let me just say one thing about this. Now, the fact that she's really just jumping ahead way too fast and saying, yeah, we're working on a travel series. You guys may recall we talked about this like a month and a half ago, that this travel series was indeed axed, but do be aware that that was a different version of the travel project that they were initially working on. This one is going to be done in the format of a tips and tricks type of travel series, and her being a critic of specific countries, specific travel destinations within those countries, etc. Stuff like that. It's a little different than what she was going to do beforehand. The previous project, the previous treatment of the other travel project was just, Meghan, traveling the world, and that's it. this is going to be done in the form of her actually trying to be educational and really trying to share tips and tricks about what not to do and what to do in this country, that country, or wherever in the world. Now, this is where it really begins to go downhill. The fact that she's mentioning a book about exposing new revelations about her day-to-day life, that really, I think, screams desperation. It really does sound like a Hail Mary or a last resort type of scenario to really get all eyes on her, to get any attention that she can at this point because of how universally rejected she truly is, not just in Hollywood, but also throughout the entire general public, right? It doesn't matter what country you're in, pretty much anyone out there despises Meghan Markle because of how inauthentic and narcissistic she really is. The best way to sum her up is insufferable, of course. That's basically how I like to describe her. But again, here she goes yet again, going off about the future so fast in the middle of promoting with Love Meghan Season 2. You would think that she would be focusing on this more than the future, but no, she's focusing on the future way too fast at this point, I think. Now, what's interesting here is that she alludes further. Between what I'm working on right now at Netflix Beyond with Love Meghan Season 2 and my holiday special, what's great about books is that you can really get personal with the readers and change their lives. This, I feel, will be the best way to connect with others and for them to really understand who the real Meghan Markle actually is, and I hope everyone gives me a chance to set my goals right to bring it to success. Dealing with critics will always be a loophole that you just have to overcome, and to them, it's best to ignore. Just ignore, ignore, ignore. I don't need their business anyway, so I'm focusing on those that know me for me. So, that last part was kind of a word salad. But one thing about this is that we know that Meghan Markle, that's all that she knows, that's all what she knows to do at this point, is to just say whatever she has to say, to kind of sound a little, logical, when she's promoting projects or representing herself or Netflix in this case. I think when you're looking at the whole Meghan Markle situation, you're going to see the end of an era for Netflix on the 26th. You're going to have a lot of people leaving and heading to other platforms out there. This is really a bad timing because you have Wednesday Season 2 now out, essentially. They're trying to really, focus on that. And Meghan Markle is basically torpedoing that project a little bit. But again, like I've said before in the past, this whole Netflix fiasco, the fact that you do have serious division going on between Greg, Ted, the executives, the producers, the board of directors, because they're even divided. It's a messy, ugly situation, let me tell you guys, over at Netflix, and probably the ugliest situation in all of Hollywood right now, at least in August of 2025, because Netflix really is creatively bankrupt where it stands right now, based on everything that they're putting out, based on everything that they're getting rid of on their platform and replacing with other stuff that nobody really cares about, while also jacking up rates, jacking up prices for the subscriber, plans out there. Overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about Meghan Markle's announcements here, about books, about travel shows. It's really going to be an abysmal nightmare, that's for sure, for whatever year this does drop. But I would like to hear what you all have to say about all this below in the comments, everything related to the Netflix situation, to Meghan Markle. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.